Welcome to this introduction to ArtText, the intuitive heading, logo and banner creation program by Beelight Software. In this tutorial, we will demonstrate how easily you can create an impressive text, logo or banner and use it with other applications like Swift Publisher, Apple Pages, iWeb or Microsoft Word. ArtText is simple and intuitive by design. It is meant for experimentation. That's why we only give a brief feature overview along with the emphatic invitation to play with it and try things. But now, let's get on with the tutorial. The user interface of ArtText is very simple and yet very powerful. The main window is dominated by a large canvas. Here, all the elements and all the changes to their attributes are displayed immediately. ArtText works with text, vector shapes and bitmap graphics. Underneath the canvas there is the text panel. This is where you can enter text and change the fonts. You can adjust the paragraph formatting, which is very important for the text that spans more than one line. So, in this example, I choose a centered alignment, and next I'm going to choose the Futura condensed font. You can also adjust kerning and line spacing. Line spacing controls the distance between lines, whereas kerning controls the distance between two single letters. A click on the little arrows at the edges flips the text panel over and reveals the vector shape panel. You can either pick one shape from the library or load one of your own graphics into the canvas by clicking the Load button. You can adjust the zoom level of the canvas by using the slide bar under the canvas. On the right-hand side of the window, there are the Fill and Stroke Effects panels. The Fill option allows you to set the color of the text or vector shape. Three fill options are available here: plain color, a gradient with an adjustable angle, and texture, which lets you choose an image to fill the text or vector shape. Activating the stroke option draws an outline around the letters of your text or the edges of your vector shape. You can easily set the color and width of the outline, as well as create multiple lines. Underneath the Fill and Stroke Effects panel, you will find the Shadow and Glow panel. Because shadow and glow are basically different versions of the same effect, you can control the shadows and glow's color, blurriness, and distance or width much in the same way. The only difference between shadow and glow is that the shadow's angle is adjustable, whereas the glow is not. Here's a tip. You can create an interesting outline effect by choosing plain color in the Fill panel and then setting the same colors for the text and the background color, and finally activating the shadow. Please note, however, that this won't work with a purely white text. Clicking the smaller left or right arrow in the lower corners of the Fill and Stroke pane flips the panel over and reveals the Shading panel. Here you can apply a material to the elements on the canvas. These settings override the settings of the Fill and Stroke pane. If you want to revert to those, just flip back to the Fill and Stroke pane. ArtText comes with a large number of predefined materials. You can access and apply them by choosing a category from the pop-up menu and selecting the one you like in the pane below. Underneath the Materials selector, there are a number of controls that influence the look of the selected material. If you want to change a predefined material or create a new one from scratch, you can open the Materials editor by either double-clicking on a material or by selecting Create a Material from the category pop-up menu. The Materials editor provides you with a large set of options that control the look of a material. Because of the wealth of parameters, we cannot cover this dialog in detail in the short introduction. For further information, please check the manual and, as always, play with the various settings. If you click the arrow in the lower corners of the Shadow and Glow panel, the whole panel will flip over, revealing the transformation panel. Here you can change the size and shape of a text or a vector shape. First, you have to select the transformation type from the list on the right side of the window. After that, you can control the degree and orientation of the transformation with the slider below the list. Some transformations have two sliders for that purpose. The two transformation types listed at the bottom differ from the others in that they change the shape of the element's frame itself. Frame transformation allows you to set the corners of the frame independently from each other. It can be used to create the impression of perspective or mirrored text. The spline curve transformation adds spline handles to the frame's corners. Move them to give the frame and the enclosed elements a curved look. This is by far the most powerful, but also the most demanding transformation in terms of computer power. Therefore, you can choose to temporarily disable the effects and materials in order to make the transformation more responsive and thus more intuitive. After you are satisfied with the transformation, you can enable them again. Finally, there's the Fix Aspect Ratio when editing text option. If turned on, the frame size will be adjusted to newly added text. If turned off, newly added text will be squeezed into the existing frame. Once you're happy with your design, you can save it as a style to be used again later on. To do so, open the Styles palette by clicking on the Styles button and by clicking on the plus at the bottom of the palette. You'll be prompted to name it. Hitting Enter will save the style. While we are there, let's take a look at some of the predefined styles that are shipped with Art Text. Here in the flower style, you can see a chamfer transformation, a texture fill with a picture of flowers, and a triple stroke. Here, a wave transformation, a gradient fill, a double stroke, and a shadow. Here you can see a gradient fill, a double stroke, and a shadow applied to a vector shape. And here, a frame transformation, a gradient fill, and a glow. So let's move on to the shaded styles. Here you can see the simple emboss material, a shadow, and a background picture. The quite glossy cherry material with high depth setting and a shadow applied to a vector shape. Again, the cherry material, a ring transformation, and a shadow. And finally, the Glass 2 material, a semi-transparent green shadow, and a negative kerning, which produce this interesting effect. And there are so many more. Please open the application and check them all out to see how they have been done. Once you are happy with your work, you probably want to use it in another application. For example, Swift Publisher, Apple Pages, iWeb, or Microsoft Word. You have two export options. To save your work as a graphic, click Export in the Export panel at the bottom of the window. A crop frame will appear that you can adjust before exporting the graphic. Once you are happy, click Continue, name the file, select the save destination, and click Save. After that, just drag and drop the exported file into the program. You can also copy your work to the clipboard. Again, you can adjust the cropping settings as shown previously. Then just select Paste from the Edit menu to add your artwork to your document. Now we have come to the end of the short introduction to Arttext. We hope you found this tutorial interesting and that you will take Arttext for a spin.